Bow down before my psycho power.
Some people thought this website and boycotting Tekken and not playing Tekken and taking a stand against Tekken was very unserious. And then once that kind of rhetoric started to be thrown around, that's when you saw the fracture. And that's when you saw people started to attack others, right? Spaghetti Rip was very outspoken about this website and he got clapped up for it. We also see other people who are outspoken about maybe not this website, but maybe just the way the players are responding to the update as a whole. Because we know that Michael Murray got attacked. People was making fun of how he looked. So some people were just trying to step in and say, hey, that is too far, which I kind of agree with. Like if you're attacking the developers personally, how they look and whatnot, you know, that's pretty childish, right? But now what I wanted to highlight was the people who were actually saying these things and the type of backlash they've been receiving. Now we'll start off with Spaghetti Rip. Now I made a video slam dunking 360 on the guy. Really, he's just putting himself in a position to get a lot of hate. So I was saying it would be better for him to just shut up and do his job. You know, don't try to fight with the players and preach to the players. Just stay out of it like all the other commentators have been. But even with that being the case, Spaghetti Rip has been getting a lot of pushback, and it got to a point where people were even attacking him personally. But then you have this tweet here where he's talking about how he's getting a lot of racist abuse, personal attacks, and all of that stuff. Well, and now we don't know what was said, but we all can imagine. But this is one example of the players really taking it too far with their hatred of Tekken 8. Season 2, and also the people who's kind of like defending it, shilling for it, or any other type of word you would like to use. The next person that I want to talk about who's getting absolutely fried is the gamer. Tekken Gamer says, guys, the Tekken team have hurt you. Trust me, relax. They're going to repair things slowly but surely. They want the game in a good place just as much as you do. This one says, for starters, you have nothing to back that up. Tekken Gamer says, I actually do. Tekken Gamer yellow motion when it comes to bootlicking competition. Anyone who knows me knows I couldn't care less about bootlicking. So he's basically saying that he's just like a normal gamer now. The next person that I want to talk about who is getting severe hate is FeedEx. You guys can comment whether or not you think FeedEx is a shill, if FeedEx is this, FeedEx is that. But in my opinion, I don't think he is. This is a comment that FeedEx received on one of his own videos. Should I be worried about being, and then in quotes, prepared at any FGC events I go to? Frame may have forgiven you, but I hope you know there's a part of the community that will never, so long as you don't formally apologize and take accountability for what you've contributed to. The audacity of this person. What is he apologizing for? Until you do, you better be prepared at any FGC event you go to. And while ultimately the devs were the one who pulled the trigger in the most diabolical way to ruin a series that spanned 30 years due to incompetence, it was the enablism by a few key figures that allowed this to rot and fester more easily. Could have stayed more neutral like misplaced stuff instead of actively running cover like Main Man did. Trust and goodwill is gone. Those who remain or return will have to answer to them. Because as much as I can sympathize and even understand why you did what you did with good intentions, I know I won't ever forgive you for the role you played. I love this game. It's over now. FeedEx says, by the way, if you see this and hate me, I have no problem with apologizing. I just don't know what I should be apologizing for. Every piece of criticism I've given the game has been ignored. You praised it where you felt it excelled. You railed against where you thought you missed the ball. How is that not the definition of neutral? FeedEx says fence sitting apparently. If you talk trash, you're a hater. If you talk positive, you are glazing, you're shilling. If you do both, fence sitting. What does this say from FeedEx? The Tekken fan base is tearing itself apart, and it's hard for me not to blame the content platforms built around negativity, hate, conjure, and rumors. If you're wondering why I focus on positive content, it's because this is what happens if you don't. 4 hours ago, it says this shield deserves all the threats that he's getting. See, this is crazy. And I don't know if FeedEx feels that I contributed to this. Do you guys think that I contributed to this? Because I be defending FeedEx all the time. You'll get what you deserve. You ruined the game, and doubling down only makes it worse. If you don't even know what you're apologizing for, then screw your apology. That apology don't mean jack. I think it's supposed to say, if you don't want to apologize, stop trying to get higher ground by saying, I don't know what I should be apologizing for. FeedEx had this coming, to be honest. Wow. Why do you say that? Why do you feel this way? They fixed everything. But see, is it that serious though? He's the main reason the game is this way. He's a shill. Well, see, I think he does shill at times, but I've also seen him give very fair constructive criticism. Like if you talk about who's been saying revert the update, he's been the one saying it the most. What about that? A shill wouldn't say that. Saying a streamer is the main reason the game is a certain way is just silly. Yeah, see, and I think that's also an over exaggeration as well. Tekken 8 is the way because the developers, and no one else should take the blame for that. I never heard FDX say force mix-ups on block is great and they should give that to every character. I never heard him say that. Maybe you guys have, but I never heard him say it. So that's the main problem with season 2. You can't put that on him. The only thing that I've really seen him say was like, he was trying to explain the tracking situation, which I understood what he was trying to do, but I think he could have done it a little bit better, especially considering how controversial that subject was at the time. But I get that he just wanted to explain like he always does. Like, I get it. With they fixed everything, all of that stuff has aged so poorly. And he realizes that, which is why he speaks the way he does now. Here's what you guys have to understand, too. The developers lied to us. Let's go back 2 weeks ago. They had chip damage throw breaks in the game, and they were said, okay, we're going to remove that. But then also they said, this update is a major defensive update. It will enhance defense. This update will do this. This update will do that. In that environment is where FDX said they listened. Now, I didn't use that language because I was like, just because they said they removed chip damage throw breaks doesn't mean nothing. We have to see what else is in the game. That's what I was saying, right? I was saying that they should have never done that in the first place. And the fact that they did do that, something's a little fishy here, right? But that is the environment that he said it in. Isn't that why people were upset? Because the developers lied to us? So how can you blame FDX for being gullible? Even the main man was like, everyone who's saying this update is bad, you guys are overreacting. And then 3 days later, he realized, okay, this update is actually bad. That's what happens sometimes. And to be fair, I did the exact same thing. The first day of the update, I was like, this update is good. What is everyone talking about? I played my little Yoshimitsu. The servers were down. I had fun experimenting with Yoshimitsu. And I literally uploaded a video where I was like, why are people mad at this update? I was like, this update is good. That video's up right now, still up. And then literally the next day, that's when I changed. And I was like, okay, this update's actually terrible. That's what I'm saying is like, no one's calling me a shill or no one's sending me death threats. Like, now to be fair, what did I title that video actually? Tekken Twitter is crashing out over season 2 buffs. So even though at the time I thought that update was good, I still titled it that way. It's funny how players get blamed for the state of the game. Like how people were trying to blame FDX. Bro, this has happened long before FDX became one of the biggest content creators. This can be tracked all the way back to at least Leroy Smith, Frame Data, Michael Murray's tweet, that era, right? We were reading the Reddit post yesterday or whatever that was given a very in-depth breakdown going all the way back to Tekken 6. As a side note to that whole conversation, I was talking about literally a couple of months ago, Harada and how he changed a lot of things with Tekken 6. At the time, people were like, Moonsault, why are you talking about this? This is irrelevant, Moonsault. You're just looking for trouble. And now look at how spot on I was. And I'm not saying with what I was saying, I'm just saying, look at how spot on with the conversation that we were having at the time. A lot of people felt like us talking about Tekken 6, I had nothing to do with Tekken 8. And it was just looking for trouble. And now look at Tekken 8 and look at the way people are going back to play Tekken 6 and Tag 2 and all those games. That's why another reason why I don't blame FDX is because it's not FDX. It doesn't matter how much FDX defended Tekken 8. The developers were going to do this regardless. Think about it. They had 2 years of feedback from players and they had all the feedback from Tekken 7 and what made that game worse as it aged. And they still continue with their vision. Because I remember specifically watching a video, we watched it on stream, where FDX was talking about nerfing every character and bringing them down to the level of Steve Fox. So how can you blame him for the developers buffing every character? That literally goes against what he said. And I seen that because I don't watch all these videos, right? So like the video where he said they listened, I don't think I watched that. But the videos that I do watch of FDX on stream with everyone, he has been saying exactly what we've been saying. Season 2 was knocking on our door when FDX said they're listening. And obviously he understands that that's wrong. I don't know if he apologized. Some people are demanding an apology. But in my opinion, I wouldn't apologize. I'm not doing that. What? I'm not apologizing. Like I said, I haven't watched whatever video he put out recently, but what I've seen on Twitter, he's been saying, revert the update, revert the update. This update is bad. This update is going to kill tournaments. This update is this. This update is that. I don't know, bro. I don't see it. Yes, VDX put out those like 2 videos where his titles was terrible, but everything else I've seen from him, he's been saying exactly what we've been saying. And I by no means blame him for this update.